Hi, this is Chintan Patel and welcome back to the video lecture series of the Fundamentals of Machine Design. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the basic concepts of the lever. Now, we will see that how the levers can be applied in our day-to-day life to reduce the efforts which we need to apply to run the machine or any component or to move any component from one place to another place, and how these levers are going to require the energy and how we can amplify our energy, how we can take the advantage of mechanical linkage, and with all those concepts learn with the proper leverage. Okay, and that's why all we need is our proper leverage, and that's why we will learn about these concepts thoroughly. First of all, we will start with few definitions and then we will see one theory based on the types of the levers. Okay, so let's get started with the first definition of this chapter, that is nothing but the lever. Now, the lever is a rigid body or a rod or a bar pivoted at one point, is called as a fulcrum basically, and used to overcome the load by the application of the small effort, or sometimes to facilitate the application of the effort to a desired direction. Okay, so these are the two applications which you can say that the lever is for which the lever is generally used, and based on this application we can design the lever appropriately. Now we will see that this is the diagram of the lever. As you can see, this is the one type of a lever. We cannot say that this is the typical diagram or the typical design of the lever, that all the lever will be of the same shape, but we can say that this is one type of a lever. As you can see, we need to lift this load which is connected at this point, and if we want to lift this load with the smaller effort, if we want to apply the small amount of a force to lift a large amount of the force, okay, or the large amount of the load, then this is our load which is required to be lifted, and this load should be lifted with the less amount of applied force, and that's why this applied force is known as an effort. Okay, so this is our effort. This is effort. Okay, so if this is the effort, both are the one type of the forces, whether it is a P or a W, both are one types of the forces. But when you apply this force in a vertically downward direction, then what will happen? The lever will turn in this direction. Okay, the lever will turn in this direction and your load gets lifted from here to here. Okay, so this is the mechanism through which we are going to lift the load. How we are going to rotate this? By providing the pivot point over here. This is the pivot point, or we can say that it is also known as a fulcrum of the lever. Fulcrum is the support about which the lever can rotate easily. Okay, so this is the support, this is the only support which the lever is having. Okay, except this, there is no support provided into the lever, and this is the point from which the lever will rotate very freely. Okay, so this is the point about which we are going to apply the moment, and which will give the effect of the rotation, and due to the rotation our load will be lifted from this point to this point. So this is the basic mechanism of the lever. Now we will see few definition based on this terminology. First we will see the arms of the lever. Now what are the arms of the lever? In a lever, a perpendicular distance of the effort and the load from the fulcrum are known as the effort arm or the load arm respectively. Okay, so first of all we will see where is the effort. This is the effort. Okay, so this is our effort, and now the perpendicular distance from the effort to the fulcrum, this much distance. Okay, so this distance is known as the effort arm. Okay, so this distance is known as effort arm. Let's say this distance is L, so we will apply the suffix P. It will indicate that this distance is known as a effort arm. Okay, now we will see where is the load. The line of action of the load is like this, and the effort fulcrum is over here. So the perpendicular distance between these two is known as LW. So this is our LW, which is also known as a load arm, because it is the distance between the load and the fulcrum. Okay, so now we will see another definition or another terminology, that is the leverage or a displacement ratio. Now what is the leverage or what is the displacement ratio? The ratio of the effort arm to the load arm is known as a leverage. So basically LP upon LW will give you the answer or will give you the ratio of the leverage or a displacement ratio. Similarly, we will define another ratio which is known as a mechanical advantage. Now this mechanical advantage is also the ratio, one type of a ratio, but it is the ratio of the load to effort. So the load is a force and effort is also force. So load is represented by W and effort is represented by P. So W upon P will give you the answer of mechanical advantage. As you can see, our intention of using the lever is to lift the load which is of the larger amount, and by the application of the small amount of the effort. So as you can see, if the W is more than the P and P is the smaller than the W, then you will say that, you can say that this ratio will be less than or greater than 1. So this ratio will be greater than 1. And if the ratio is greater than 1, it will show that you can lift your you can utilize the lever to have some advantage over the load which is required to be lifted. Similarly, you can connect it with this because we know the principle of the lever by taking the moment about the fulcrum. By taking the moment about the fulcrum, you can say that the W into LW, because W is a force and LW is the perpendicular distance. So force into perpendicular distance will be moment. As you can see, this is the direction of the W. So your moment direction will be like this in an anti-clockwise direction. As you can see, the force in this effort is in this direction. So your moment will be in a clockwise direction. Both the moments are of the opposite sign and that's opposite nature, and that's why we will take it as a clockwise equals to anti-clockwise. Why we are taking both the same? Because the lever, we consider the lever as in equilibrium. Equilibrium condition itself indicates that there is a summation of the total amount of the moments which is equals to 0. Now, if W into LW equals to P into LW, the LP. So if you take the W upon P, then you will get this ratio as a LP into LW, which is nothing but the mechanical advantage as well as a leverage. So mechanical advantage and leverage both are the same, both are equal, but we can term them in differently based on the definition that the LP upon LW is leverage and W upon P is a mechanical advantage. So based on definition, we have differentiated that ratio, which is nothing but the same ratio, and now we are going to see another theoretical part of this chapter, and that is nothing but the types of lever. So types of lever can be asked in your examination up to the 5 to 7 marks, and based on the marks you need to describe that types of lever. So the first type of a lever is lever with the fulcrum between the load and effort. So the name itself indicates the position of each and every components of the lever. So first of all, we will draw one lever. The lever cross section could be anything, rectangular, circular, elliptical, anything, but we have represented one lever like this. The lever which is having its fulcrum between the load and effort. So the fulcrum is the point about which the lever is rotating. So this is our fulcrum, and this fulcrum is located between the load is W, and effort is P. So it is located between the W and P. So that's why this diagram indicates the first condition of the types of lever. This is the lever with the fulcrum between the load and effort. So what we are going to find here is that in this type of a lever, normally the mechanical advantage is greater than 1, and that is required. In most of the levers we will see that there will be in the mechanical advantage more than 1, but in few applications where the load and the efforts are altered, then we will see there is a mechanical advantage less than 1, because that is the requirement of the application, and based on the application we will utilize the different types of the lever where you will see the variation in the mechanical advantage from greater than 1 to the less than 1. Okay, so we will see that example of this type of a lever, that is the rocker arm lever in an IC engine, beam of the balance, and the handle of the hand pump, etc. Those are the example of this type of a lever. Now as you can see, if you want to lift this W force, W load, most of the W load are basically the weight, and the weight will be always in a downward direction. Now in order to rotate this and lift this in an upward direction, then you will require to apply the force, which is effort, in a downward direction, and that's why the P is represented in a downward direction. The distance LP and LW are already explained in the previous slide, so that we can move into the type number 2. The type number 2 is the lever with the load between the fulcrum and the effort. So the name itself indicates that this time the load is between the fulcrum and the effort. So what we are going to do, we are going to take our fulcrum on the side. Okay, so fulcrum is over here. This is our fulcrum about which the lever is rotating. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to lift this load. Okay, we are going to lower this load, because this time the load is on the upper side of the lever. Okay, this time the load is on the upper side of the lever. So if this load is on the upper side and it is intended to go upward, so we may say that our springs are connected with this load, and which is required to be lowered with the help of the lever. And whenever this type of application is required, then in order to lower the lever, we will apply the effort or the P force in a downward direction. This is the direction of the P force. As this is the load in upward direction, in order to take it down, we need to apply the force in a downward direction. So this is the mechanism, and based on that mechanism we can identify few distance. This is the distance LW, which is connected which is the distance between the W, that is load, and the fulcrum. This is the distance LP, which is nothing but the distance between the effort and the fulcrum. Now we are going to see that this type of a mechanism is generally is an example of the boiler safety valve, or we can say that the lever loaded safety valve. We will see that type of examples in the upcoming lectures, because it is one of the basic and important example which can be asked in your examination. So the mechanical advantage is greater than 1 in this type of a lever. Now we will see another type, that is the lever with the effort between the fulcrum and load. So the effort is between the fulcrum and load. Again, the fulcrum will be taken out to the side, left side. As you can see, this is the fulcrum, and fulcrum is located at the end of the lever. Now we will see that what is between the fulcrum and the load, that is effort. So effort is between the fulcrum and the load, and that's why we have represented it over here. Now we can say that this is our load, and we need to lower this load by the application of the effort. As this load is going upward because of the connection with the string or the spring, we can say that if we want to apply the effort to lower it down, then you will have to apply the load in a downward direction. So this is our applied load, which is nothing but our effort, and due to this is the effort, when we can say that the LP is the distance between the effort and the fulcrum, and the LW is the distance between the load and the fulcrum. So these are the distance based on which we have divided, segregated, or we can say we have classified different types. Now we will see few more types, and those are nothing but the angular lever. Now what is the angular lever? The angular lever, the name itself indicates that it is having the angle between the two arms. Okay, so the lever in which load arm and the effort arms are inclined at an angle other than the 180 degree. The angle should not be equal to 180 degree or a 0 degree. Okay, so those are known as an angular lever. Such levers are used to facilitate the application of the effort in the desired direction. So if you do not wish to use the lever in a vertical or in any particular direction which is perpendicular to the fulcrum, then you can apply it, apply the force or the lift the load, you can take the load in any direction. You can accommodate the load, or we can say that you can displace the load from any point to another point in any direction using this type of a lever. The angle is dependent on your application. The angle should be decided by the lever designer. and based on the design you can say that you will be able to apply the force in any direction. Okay, so this type of levers are very useful, especially whenever there is a space restriction in the machine or any vehicle. Then you may see this type of a lever where the angle is provided in order to provide the effort or in order to displace the load in a particular desired direction. So the example of this type of a lever is arms in a rocker arms in a IC engine and the brake levers. Both are the examples of this type. As you can see, the load is over here which is needed to be displaced or which is needed to be lifted, and that's why we have provided the effort in a downward direction. This is the fulcrum about which the lever is rotating, and if you apply the force in a downward direction, then you will see this load to be lifted in this direction. So as we can say that this is the distance LW, this is also known as a load arm, and this is the distance LP, which is also known as effort arm. So both the arms are having some angle over here which is not equal to the 180 degree. So this is somewhat angle theta or alpha, you may indicate it with your will, but you may say that there is an angle between the load arm and the effort arm, and that's why we can say it is an angular lever. Now we will see another type, that is the bell crank lever, which is another specified form of the angular lever, where you will see one specific angle between the load arm and the effort arm. As you can see, when the angle between the load arm and the effort arm is 90 degree, the lever is known as a bell crank lever. Now as you can notice over here that this is the load arm and this is the effort arm, and the angle between those two arms is nothing but exactly 90 degree. Then if this angle is exactly 90, you can say this type of a lever is nothing but the bell crank lever. So this is the bell crank lever where the load is needed to be lifted in this direction, okay, or displaced in this direction. In order to displace that load or in order to lift that load, you will have to apply the effort in this direction. Okay, so this is the effort, this is the load, this is the fulcrum F, about which we are going to rotate the lever in a desired direction. So we will see another type of the lever, that is nothing but the one arm lever. So one arm lever which has the only one arm, as the name itself indicates that it has the only one arm, that is the effort arm. There will be no any load arm. This type of a lever is used to apply an external torque. Whenever the torque is to be applied from external side, then this type of a lever is used. Example of such type of a lever are hand lever, foot lever, and the cranking lever. As you can see, this is the arm where you will apply the effort, and this effort may be in any direction, whether in the upward direction or in the downward direction. Right now I have just drawn one direction, which is downward direction. Now in order to rotate this lever in this clockwise direction and apply the torque in this manner or with this nature at this particular point. So this will be our fulcrum and this will be our effort arm. There will be no load arm which is required to be represented in this lever. And example of a hand lever are the hand brake in the car, lever in the lathe, and the milling machine, etc. Example of the foot lever are the brake lever in the car and kickstart in the two-wheelers. These are the examples based on which you can identify different types of the lever. Now we will see last type of the lever, that is the compound lever. And it is a combination of the two or more simple levers, that's why it is known as a compound lever. The load on the lever 1 will act as an effort on the lever 2. Okay, so this is a combination of two or more different types of the lever. As you can see in this diagram, there are two levers available, and for this two lever, this is load W2, and in order to lift this load, we will apply the effort over here. Now this effort is applied in a downward direction. This will cause the rotation in this direction, and this rotation or this uplifting of the load will work as an effort for this lever, and this lever will rotate in this direction, and due to the rotation of this direction we can say that this load is going to be lifted. Okay, so this is the method using which you can directly uplift or you can directly lower the load or uplift the load in a desired direction. So therefore W1 is equals to P2 and a mechanical advantage on the leverage of the compound lever can be represented as W2 upon P1. Why so? Because this is the final load which is required to be displaced, and this is the final effort which is required to be applied externally. So W2 upon P1 equals to W2 upon P2 into P2 upon P1. That's why we can say it as the P2 equals to W1 and leverage of the lever 2 into leverage of the lever 1. So this was the end of our lecture. In the upcoming lecture, we will see three different types of the lever and application of those lever using the examples. And first we need to clear those concepts which we have covered in this lecture, and that's why I recommend you to refer this lecture before watching the next lecture. Okay, till then, thank you.